Awful. Awful. There's nothing to say for it really. Awful. It was an awful performance. Crystal Palace were the much better team. Credit to Crystal Palace. They were the much better team over 90 minutes. I can't even say that we were unlucky or that we will get into one or two things, but awful, awful performance by Manchester United. Yes, there's an argument to be had where they looked, not fit, lacking match fitness. Crystal Palace obviously had an extra game played last week, and so maybe a bit more sort of sharp in that respect. But it was just an awful performance, really. It was, and to be honest, if this is how we're going to play, I've got big concerns for this season and big concerns for Ollie. I already said in previous videos with the lack of transfers and the way that we've gone about things, as well as looking in this week and seeing how Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, etc. strengthen, that United, I don't have good feelings going into the season. I don't. And I got a lot of stick for it. I hope that this game shows why I'm a bit justified. The first 5 minutes of this game, I could already see how this game was going. I mean, first and foremost, this time because my match reaction is going to be a bit longer. I was going to take notes during the game, and the reality is, the first 5 minutes of the game, I could already see how the game was going. For some reason, it's essentially last season, this season, where if people remember when we played Palace, although we just about beat them last season, we played from the back, taking too much time on the ball, and then we get pressed. And that's basically what happened against Palace for most of this game, really. The first goal comes from that. Palace go ahead because we're taking too much time, we lose the ball, and they score. That's basically what happens. United are slow coming out. There is no one really, I don't really know what Ollie wants from this team in terms of how we're playing, because we don't have the quality at the back to really be ball playing, Maldini-esque kind of passing, really great. We don't have that. So if we're going to take ages to play from the back, we need an outlet, and we don't have that. If you're gonna do that, at least have a guard up top so you can ping it up to him, okay, so he can hold up the ball. So yeah, so that was essentially our problem for a lot of the attack. We were getting pressed all over the pitch. We were losing every single header. Our fullbacks as well in Mensah and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw being done on that left side. I do think Luke Shaw is a better defender than Brandon Williams. But for everyone saying that somehow, if Luke Shaw was playing, we would have beaten Sevilla, just look at this game and you'll see why that's not the case necessarily. He also looks particularly not fit, at all. But our fullbacks were obviously really high up the pitch, pushing up, fair enough. But what were they really doing, really? They didn't really do anything. This is what I don't understand. It's how are we playing? Are we trying to be like Liverpool? We're getting the fullbacks to make tons of crosses. They're not doing that, and there's no one really in the box, to actually feed the crosses to. The fact that Daniel James, the fact that Rashford, the fact that Martial, the fact that we're playing up top, whatever. All three of those players are naturally left wingers. Martial has been tried as number 9, but all three of those players like to come inside all the time. Although Daniel James is more of a traditional winger in terms of out wide than the other two are. But the same problems. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, everyone, because the fact is, I knew how Crystal Palace were going to play. They were gonna be compact, be deep, and then hit us on the break with pace. And that's essentially what they did for every single game. Especially when we needed to come out and win, when we were leaving players out on the field. They were hitting us with Zaha and Ayew, and we were getting destroyed. Our back four, certainly our centre-backs, could not handle the pace of Zaha and Ayew. And they couldn't handle them last season. Nothing has changed. So why did people expect a different result this time? They couldn't handle at Old Trafford last season, Zaha and Ayew, and now they can't handle them again. Nothing has changed. Our back four hasn't changed, has it? I still think, like I said, people say Bay is not fit. Bay. I think Bay has the stamina at least to get back at least. Okay, you can say injury prone or not, blah 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 blah. Put Bailly into that. We need pace in that centre back. Even if Bailly gets injured from now or does something reckless, whatever. Don't care, everybody. Don't care. We need pace in that centre back position, and Lindelof and Maguire do not have them. And we need a bit of aggression as well. Lindelof got done for that third goal. We'll go get into that in a second. I'm going to be a proper long live post match reaction after this, guys, because this is just a brief post match instant match reaction. But I could say a lot of things. I mean, like I said, I wrote notes. A few points, and I'll round this up. A few glaring points. Obviously, I've talked about the centre back. There's no pace in the centre back pairing at all. Bailly needs to come in. McTominay, if you're going to play McTominay, I get that players are not match fit, like Matic, like Wan-Bissaka, like Greenwood, etc. So I don't blame Ollie for resting players in that respect. However, I don't get Fred over McTominay. And I'm tired. I'm really, really tired of this agenda of trying to make McTominay a holding midfielder. He's not. He's not at all. He's not. And that was evident by the fact that literally Bruno Fernandes, in a fair few occasions, was sprinting back, to almost playing like a defender. So why are you playing Scott McTominay? If Bruno Fernandes, who's supposed to be your most advanced player, is sprinting back to be your defender, I don't get why McTominay is in the team here. I don't. So for me, McTominay has to, he can't. He shouldn't be in the holding position. He shouldn't be. Okay. Matic for me comes in there, or you figure something out with Pogba, Bruno. But to be honest, Pogba, Bruno, and Fred, and Van der Beek are not all holding midfielders. But honestly, at least put Fred in there, is my opinion. So that for me is one glaring issue. If McTominay is going to be the holding, and that means that Pogba plays deeper, which is not great for him. Pogba had a terrible game today as well, by the way. He lost the ball so many times, he was awful. But I give the issue with this, and I've said it several times, is stop playing Pogba and McTominay in a double pivot. Stop doing that. Okay, it doesn't work. It doesn't get the best out of Pogba, and McTominay tends to go for it. It doesn't work, so stop it. Okay? I've spoken already about the fullbacks. I think they'll be a bit of more fault. Like I said, the front men, we don't really have anyone holding up, staying inside. And the fact of the matter is that when we broke Crystal Palace defended deep into a back four, we didn't really seem to, when we lost the ball, we didn't really seem to get into any real formation, really. At all. It was a joke. It was a joke. And like I said, I'm going to go into more depth in my live post-match reaction with player ratings. But guys, this isn't boding well. I'm not going to be completely negative just based on the fact it's the first game of the season. But this shows that we need transfers, we need actual tactics, and we need to figure out what our best 11 is. Because there are a lot of players in that field. Shout out to Wan-Bissaka, by the way, because they were coming down our right-hand side. I mean, if you want to know what life is like without Wan-Bissaka, this is the game. Because they were going down our right-hand side. If Wan-Bissaka was playing there, he sorts out Zaha. Zaha destroyed our right-hand side and our centre-backs. If fit Wan-Bissaka comes in, there's no issue there. So, that's it. So, we move on, but I hope at least for the next game, we'll be playing our actual starting 11. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, if you're disappointed like me, give a like, share, subscribe. We move on.